Canada still has never won a Davis Cup in its tennis history, but man, oh man, it was close last week in Madrid, and it was quite the show. Vasek Pospisil joining us from Los Angeles after an exhausting week, as Arash can attest to, in Madrid. Vasek, it's great to see you. Listen, as a periphery tennis guy from the outside looking in, I just want to congratulate you on that effort. You must be exhausted, but well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a very memorable week for sure. So we couldn't push it through to the end, but we came close.
Vasek, what do you think you're going to remember most about that whole thing, man?
Wow. I mean, tons of emotions. It was an incredible experience all the way through. I mean, just hanging out with the guys and the amount of fun that we had. And also, it kind of felt like one of those weeks where it just went by so quickly. You know, you didn't really realize what was happening or you know, the gravity of the situations. It kind of reminded me a little bit of when you know, I played Wimbledon, when we won Wimbledon with Jack Sock, and had a similar feel to it. We're just kind of going, having a great time, laughing, and same time, you know, the team was super confident, and we wanted to take it all the way.
The energy you had with your teammates in Madrid was quite something to behold. And it seemed rather cathartic for you, Vasek, considering you had surgery earlier in the year and how difficult it was. How much of a release was that week in terms of just the competitive juices and the intensity of it all? How much did you enjoy it from that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast. I had a blast, especially, you know, given the year that I had, especially obviously the start of the year having surgery. I was off the tour for 8 months. And, you know, wasn't quite sure when I would be in a situation like that again, or if I would ever be, right? Obviously you're confident and you want to believe that that'll happen again and that you'll get to that high level, but nothing is for certain in life, right? And so to end the year the way it did was pretty surreal, pretty special, and I worked so hard to get back, and so to end it that way was, you know, it turned what could have been a pretty rough year with the surgery to pretty an amazing year, to be honest.
Vasek, you've been doing this forever. I mean, in your tennis career, 2008, you first joined the Davis Cup team, and I think that's one of the neatest things about this whole Davis Cup deal is that in an individual sport, you bring together individuals onto a team, waving the flag. And this year, and this group especially, Sid, they really seemed to care about one another. Like Vasek, it really seemed there was a unique chemistry and a unique bond among you guys. I know you and Nestor are tight, and over the years there have been some good teams. But it just, you know, it hit me on Saturday watching Felix be in tears after you guys won the doubles, that here's somebody who hadn't played yet, and he was so overwhelmed because of the success of his teammates. And that's something that's so rare to find. Just how tight a group was this, and how unique is that in your sport?
Yeah, it's honestly, I think the reason why we succeeded to the extent that we have is largely due to the fact that we really feel like a team, that we're really pulling for each other. The chemistry there all week was incredible. I mean, Felix is he got such a big heart. I mean, I you know, told this to him even after. Just, you know, the guy's 21 in the world, and obviously he was injured for 3 weeks, so he wasn't able to be, you know, fit and ready to compete until, you know, he had some training to get it for that last match in the final. But just to be there the way he was every day, like cheering for us, and it just meant so much to him. Just shows so much about his character. And I think, you know, you can say the same about the whole team. I think we're all. That's what's so unique about Davis Cup, and I think to be successful in Davis Cup, you really need to have that team chemistry and really just this just a selfless approach that you want the team to do well, and you don't want just yourself to do well, and you don't want to take the spotlight, and it's just about, you know, who should play for the team to win, and everyone's in it together, and honestly, I think that's a large reason, you know, why we did so well.
The format for this Davis Cup obviously changed for those not completely familiar. It was condensed to about a week. That is not usually how the Davis Cup has ever been run. Some people liked it, some people don't. From your perspective, Vasek, how was it?
Well, from the players' perspective, and also because we had a really great, we had amazing fans that flew in from Canada, so we had a great cheering section, so that was huge. But from the player perspective, It felt like Davis Cup. I mean, it felt more or less the same emotions. I think it's, I think that format has a tremendous amount of potential personally, just because you have all the top players under one roof essentially in 1 week competing, and walking around, you see Team Australia and Team Great Britain and Team whatever, they're all there, and it's pretty cool. And one of the things that hasn't necessarily been consistent over the years of Davis Cup is top player appearances, but everybody was there competing more or less, minus say Roger and Stan and maybe a few, but everyone was there, and I think it has a tremendous amount of potential. And obviously the first few years, it's always going to take a little bit to get going, but I think they did a great job organizing it, and I think it could be a really great event, and it already is. I mean, I think for year one, I think it was very, very successful.
Vasek, you were top 25 in the world 5 years ago. In 2015, you reached the Wimbledon quarterfinal. You're now healthy, knock on wood. Going into this offseason and in the aftermath of this Davis Cup, where do you feel you can take your game in 2020?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that the sky's the limit. Obviously, it's as you get a little bit older, you get more perspective on your limits and limitations. But honestly, with the way things have been going the last 3 months, and my body right now is feeling as good as it's felt since before my initial back injury in 2014. I mean, since then I've been kind of dealing with a back issue. It seemed like every 3 weeks or so something was going on, and now, knocking on wood, it's been good for since the surgery. Last 4 or 5 months I've been competing pain-free, which injury-free, which hasn't been the case. So if my body can stay healthy, and then I'm really optimistic and pretty confident in my abilities that I can get back up to a career high ranking, and hopefully top 20. That's the ultimate goal in my head and right now. But I really believe that I'm playing some really high level tennis right now.
Watching the Davis Cup and watching you guys perform at that level is always interesting to me. One, because it's at the tail end of the tennis year. At least this tournament was. Everyone's pretty much tired. There's been through a lot of stuff like you have. But to see a guy like Nadal, #1 in the world, if he skipped it, I kind of would understand. But he didn't. And the emotion that goes into that, it's amazing to me. And couple that with the fact that you guys made it to the weekend, and you have a lot of young people in this country watching on Sportsnet 1, the emotion that goes into it, the emotion that Rafael Nadal is putting into it. I think it was a really important weekend for Canadian tennis and young people in this country, young athletes, in terms of Canadian tennis. Do you hope this enthusiasm continues? When you look at the young nucleus coming through, are you excited about the future for Canada in this competition?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been on such an incredible ride the last few years, tennis in Canada specifically, and just seems to be getting better and better. Bianca obviously winning U.S. Open this year, and the years that Dennis and Felix have had, and now this Davis Cup to top it off. I think, when you have that kind of success, I think success kind of is a precursor for more success, right? So, I mean, I think it'll just bring more attention to the sport. Hopefully, young kids will pick up a tennis racket, and I think tennis has a very bright future in this country, and an event like Davis Cup just kind of sets it's a spark. It's a tremendous amount of energy for the whole country, and it gets a lot of press, and everyone's very invested. So hopefully that boosts the sport as well.
Vasek, it's great to see you out there. And congratulations on the week. I know it didn't completely end the way you wanted, but it was a hell of a show. Bravo. Take care. Get some rest. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.